All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah, glad to be back.
This one, it's been on everyone's minds the past few weeks.
It's,
These fires in Los Angeles.
yeah, those were some scary
I
ones.
mean, January 7th,
Mm-hmm.
thousands of acres burned, thousands of people displaced. And, the
Right.
officials are saying extreme weather, climate change.
Yeah, seems like the go-to.
But you sent me this video called The Hidden Truth Behind the Devastating Los Angeles Fires.
Yeah.
What's really going on? And, well,
Yeah, this one's really got people talking online.
yeah, and it's pretty intense. I mean, they're saying that there's a whole other story here,
Yeah.
a whole other explanation. So
Well, let's get into it.
yeah, we gotta sift through it all, figure out what's going on.
What we can believe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this video really focuses on this idea of a smart city project.
Okay.
And they're saying that these fires were intentionally set to clear the land.
Unintentionally set. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and the fires did happen in areas that were planned for development, and it's right before the Olympics in 2028, so.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's a bold claim for sure.
It is.
And thinking about Los Angeles,
Yeah.
it does have a history of land grabs and displacement.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go all the way back to the early 20th century and see this pattern.
Right.
So when you look at these fires through that lens, I can see why some people might be suspicious.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just like a hunch. This video actually offers some supposed evidence.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have this footage of these blue flashes right before some of the fires start.
Blue flashes? What is that like?
I mean, it was weird. It's like bright blue, and it's just like a flash, and then boom, fire.
So they're claiming that this is like a directed energy weapon or something.
That's what they're saying. Yeah, I mean,
I know directed energy weapons are a real thing.
Right.
But I haven't heard of anything that could start fires like that, at least not publicly.
Well,
I mean, a lot of that technology is developed in secret, so who knows?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, are we right to be worried, or is that just fueling more conspiracy theories?
I mean, it's really hard to say.
Yeah. There's another thing that they point out in the video.
Okay.
It's these celebrity homes that are completely untouched in the middle of all this destruction.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
They show these mansions, perfect, not a scratch on them.
Wow.
And everything around them is just ashes.
I mean, fire is...
It's wild.
It's unpredictable.
Yeah.
Wind direction, the materials the house is made of, even the plants around, all of that affects how a fire spreads.
Right.
So it's totally possible that those houses just got lucky.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be some big conspiracy.
Right.
But I get why people would find it suspicious.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of suspicious,
Yeah.
right after the fires,
Mm-hmm.
there was this huge push for stricter climate regulations.
Oh, yeah.
Talk of like permanent evacuation zones,
Yeah.
even restructuring entire urban areas. And the video is saying that the disaster was basically exploited to push through an agenda that was already in place.
Well, I mean, it is true that disasters tend to create these opportunities for big policy changes.
Right.
I mean, think back to Hurricane Katrina.
Mm-hmm.
That led to a bunch of changes in disaster relief policies.
Yeah.
And I think the question is always, are these changes really benefiting the people affected, or is there something else going on?
Exactly. And then you add in the financial side of things.
Oh, right.
This video mentions that some of the really high-value properties that burned down,
Yeah.
they had just updated their fire insurance policies,
Oh, wow.
like weeks before the fires.
That does seem a little too convenient.
Right.
The video is suggesting insider knowledge, maybe even fraud.
Yeah,
I mean, it's important not to jump to conclusions,
of course.
but you can't deny that history is full of people taking advantage of tragedies
Right.
for their own personal gain.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. And there's a lot of unanswered questions about these fires, too. I mean, like, why were the emergency sirens silent?
Yeah, I've heard about that.
And how were some buildings completely incinerated while trees right next to them were fine?
Hmm.
They even mentioned military helicopters flying over the areas right before the fires started.
Okay, so this video is raising a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I mean, I think those are valid questions.
Yeah.
It's easy to just dismiss them as conspiracy theories, but when officials aren't transparent,
Right?
it just makes people more suspicious.
Yeah, for sure. So we've gone through a lot of what this video is claiming.
We have...
What's your overall take?
Well, they're definitely trying to connect a lot of dots here, and some of those connections are interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to remember, just because things happen close together in time
Yeah,
doesn't mean they're connected or that there's some big plan.
that's true.
Correlation doesn't equal causation, as they say.
Right, right. And I think that's really the key takeaway here. It's so important to question the official narrative, But we also need to be skeptical of claims like this.
Absolutely. That skepticism should apply to everything, the official explanations too.
Right.
Keep asking questions, get different perspectives, and really look at all the evidence before you decide what to believe.
That's great advice. So here's something for everyone to think about. If you're questioning the official story about these fires,
Yeah.
what other events or situations should we be looking at more critically? And what assumptions are we making about the information we see every day?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, it's something to think about.
Definitely.
Thanks for diving into this with me today.
Yeah, this was a good one.
And keep those critical thinking skills sharp, everyone.
Absolutely.